Welcome to Pokemon episode summaries. First, it's time for the premiere episode of the entire anime, I Choose You, episode 1. The episode begins with a battle between Gengar and Nidorino, with eventually an Onix taking the Nidorino's place. This battle is being watched by our protagonist from Pallet Town in the Kanto region, Ash Ketchum, who dreams of becoming a Pokemon master and getting his Pokemon license, which he can now get because he just turned 10 years old. After excitedly stating these goals to himself, his mom comes into his room and demands that he gets to bed, as he'll miss the chance to get his first starter if he oversleeps. Ash essentially disregards his mom's warnings, continuing to watch the TV, putting on a program relating to the starters, and Professor Oak giving a lecture about them. Professor Oak is the town's professor who gives out starter Pokemon for free. Ash dreams of picking out his starter in his sleep, but his dream is so wild that he ends up destroying his alarm clock, thus oversleeping just as his mom warned. He rushes to the lab as fast as he can, but he's only met by his childhood rival, the dickhead himself, Gary Oak, who is also Professor Oak's grandson. He is also met by Gary's mass amount of cheerleaders, as Gary is super popular. Gary had picked out the starter of his own, but doesn't reveal which one it is. Unfortunately for Ash, though, Gary must have picked out the last starter, as when he goes to Professor Oak, begging for a Pokemon despite being late, Oak reveals that all three of the starters have already been chosen. Oak, feeling bad for Ash, though, does reveal that there is one more Pokemon, but it is unusual and he would usually never give it out. This Pokemon is the infamous Pikachu, the mascot of the franchise. Pikachu, being unusual as Oak had said, immediately disobeys Ash, shocking him entirely. Pikachu seems to have a hatred for humans, so you can definitely see how Ash and Pikachu didn't start out as best friends. Ash takes Pikachu anyway, though, also getting Pokeballs and a Pokedex from Oak, and being greeted by everyone in Pallet Town, including his mom, who have all come to support him just as cheerleaders supported Gary. His mom also gives him supplies, such as rubber gloves, to help with Pikachu, who refuses to go into a Pokeball for a reason that we still don't know to this very day, preferring to stay outside. Ash and Pikachu then finally set out to the first route, with Ash still trying to get Pikachu to warm up to him, but it's not working whatsoever. Ash then encounters a Pidgey and tries to capture it by putting his pajama clothes over it, but it runs away. Ash then encounters a Rattata who tries to steal his food successfully. He then encounters a Fearow and decides to try throwing a rock at it, which angers it. It starts out by trying to go directly for Pikachu, who shocks it in response, with Sandshrew and Mankey watching this go down. The Spearow does not stay down for long and calls for a whole flock to help him chase Ash and Pikachu down. They run away, but eventually fall into the water, where they encounter a Magikarp and a Gyarados, and are eventually fished up by Misty, a red-headed girl. Ash immediately gets their friendship off to a very strong start, as he steals Misty's bike, determined to make a getaway from the Spearow, also needing a place to keep Pikachu, who had passed out due to running so much. Ash begins his getaway as it begins raining, which causes the bike to slip and fall as the Spearow close in on both him and Pikachu. Ash begs Pikachu to go in the Pokeball, but Pikachu declines. Ash attempts to stand up to the Spearow on his own, claiming that a Pokemon Master should be able to do so, and tries to defend Pikachu, which earns Pikachu's respect. Finally beginning their lifelong friendship, Pikachu lunges at the Spearow, taking them out with a huge thunder shock. This tires Ash and Pikachu out as they collapse to the ground as the rain dissipates. When they look to the sky, they see Ho-Oh, which the Pokedex is unable to identify at this time due to being a Generation 2 Pokemon. Due to its awesomeness. Ash, inspired by the shimmering golden Pokemon, picks up the injured Pikachu as they head towards Viridian City, their next destination.